Gosh, that is a lot of hair.
well, your hair is not curly at all. That's incredibly straight.
It's
Doesn't it keep you warm in the summer?
Jesus, hippie.
It does pretty bad, but whenever I'm like out shooting or whatever, I always wear a bandana. Most of the men in my family, like especially the older ones, they like died with a full head of jet black hair. Like just they're all
too.
Yeah,
how did they die?
How did they die?
I realize I need to clarify.
Well, all of them died in a tragic house fire.
Great heads of hair, though.
That side of my family,
it really lit up.
That side of my family's like Italian. So all the men have like long black hair into like, their later years and stuff. So hopefully that's not a problem I have to worry about. They all either died in shootouts or of lung cancer from smoking. So that's the true American way to go out.
Yeah, the two threats.
The two threats facing a Southern man.
A shootout or lung cancer.
Shootout or lung cancer. That's the most Appalachian testament of death. That and what's the other thing that gets COPD. Yeah. Because everyone works in coal mines.
Doesn't drinking moonshine make you go blind and die?
It can't. Only if you're like a bad batch will. If you're bad at it, it will.
Because it's what is it called? Methanol. It's methanol gets in there, and then that makes you go blind. Because that's why they run the still first and let the methanol out before it's just ethanol, right?
You're supposed to siphon the concentrated.
I watched 3 episodes of Moonshiners 10 years ago, high off my ass. I think I know what I'm fucking talking about.
I think a big part. So a big part of what would
subject matter expert on the
I saw an
here.
episode of Moonshiners blackout drunk in 2012, so I think I know what's going on.
Anyway, no, you're pretty much right. Like the reason that you siphon some of it off, or you get the straight chemicals or whatever out, is because it can, for one, kill you or just make you go blind if you're not careful. Normally, like I said, it's if you're bad at it, that's when it's a problem because you're not doing it correctly. A bunch of my family, a bunch of my family did like bootlegging and all that. So it was like an insult. If someone went blind, they were considered stupid. Because like they had no clue what they were doing.
Because they didn't do it correctly. And
correct.
Yeah.
It's like, haha, you hear about old Jim Crow, Jim Bob, or whatever up on the mountainside.
Crow?
You hear about old Jim Crow? You
said
won't believe the words he has to say about this certain group. I'm no political genius, but I don't care for this Jim Crow fella.
I think he's kind of a jerk.
I give him 1.5 thumbs down. The second half was because he thought he was helping.
This?
Yes, it was like that, like a little drink. Yeah, he tried to help very racistly. just couldn't get the pieces together.
I'm not getting behind this one.
Very racistly. But yeah, so like a bunch of the old family did like moonshining. There was which is where NASCAR comes from, a true American tradition. How's
that connection? Moonshine funded NASCAR in the beginning.
Bootlegging did. So the way that it worked is whenever Prohibition started in the 20s or the 30s. What year did Prohibition start and end? It was like 20.
It was like, wasn't it late 20s to early 30s?
I think it ended in 32 or something like that.
Yeah, 33.
Anyway, before then, vehicles were just starting to become widely produced, and if there was a vehicle, they would just drive it standard until they began to need to outrun the police. So whenever they started to need to outrun police, they started 20 to 33 according to Zach. Yeah. They started needing to soup up the engines of vehicles, which was the first time anyone tried to tune their cars to go faster. So after Prohibition ended in 33, there was now this entire market in the South of people who had souped up vehicles and done engines to make cars go fast. So they figure, well, we've got all this, we might as well do something with it. Let's just race each other. And that's where NASCAR began.
I was reading this article about Prohibition and how these women would walk into the bars and the taverns and smash all the bottles and do this huge amounts of damage, but it was just not gentlemanly to manhandle a woman back then, apparently. And that just flies in the face, first of all, of what the media has always taught me. I thought we were beating them the shit out of them back then, but but it seems as if most people were so gentlemanly that some bitches could come into your bar where you and the boys were hanging out and not just like cause a ruckus, but destroy the place and empty it of any alcohol to drink.
I have a theory. I think they operated a little bit like the UK police who have no guns. Like, all right, it's not so much you that I'm letting detain me and do all this. It's the people who will come if this shit goes sideways. Because this is during Prohibition, right? So these women are going into people.
No, this is how Prohibition happened.
Well,
then I'm part of up to it. Yeah.
I was gonna say during Prohibition they let them get away with this shit because all they lose is the product, whereas the alternative is to go to jail or
during Prohibition they would have killed those women because then organized criminals took over because you've created a black fucking market by outlawing alcohol. Now you have criminals who own the taverns. Al Capone made his money selling fucking liquor, right? Like became the richest man in America or something.
Gave us a lot of awesome movies, a lot of awesome lore about the Italian mob. Like we wouldn't have that without Prohibition.
Who's your favorite Al Capone? Because I really like that guy in Boardwalk Empire who plays him. I think he does a really good job.
Yeah, I was going to say him as well. The British guy who looks very like stocky, like he looks like Capone, the same face shape, the same.
His
like
nickname is
build.
Pork Chop for sure.
Oh
like,
yeah, he's a pork chop.
He looks like Pork Chop. Yeah,
he's a
also,
good one.
Yeah. He's
Wait, who's another Capone? Like, so I can compare. You probably know more.
Well, there was the one with what's his name, where he was shitting himself. It's like Capone is an old man, and the neurosyphilis has taken effect. It's the guy who played
Tom
Bane.
Hardy.
Tom Hardy played that one.
Sucked. I watched part of that, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. When's he going to do cool stuff? And it's like, no, this whole movie is just kind of watching a doddering old gangster.
But De Niro played Capone in The Untouchables, which is a Kevin Costner / Sean Connery movie. They are like partners fighting bootlegging in Chicago, and they are the Untouchables, is what they dubbed themselves or whatever. And it's Elliot Ness. He plays Elliot Ness. True story. Elliot Ness is played by Kevin Costner, and Sean Connery is his, I don't know, this older cop who's advising him and helping him navigate the difficulties of all that. It's a good movie.
Okay. I don't like Kevin Costner, so I probably won't watch
it. But De Niro plays Capone, and he's got a bald cap on, and he's doing that fucking thing he does.
Both of you did pretty good impressions.
We're gonna kill him.
Just that weird like grimace smile.
Bro, what's wrong with your face?
He's had an old man smile for much longer than he's been old.
You've seen Taxi Driver, right? From back in the day where he traded places.
I think that might be my favorite De Niro movie. I like that a lot.
Is that Scorsese? So I'm 99% sure that's Martin Scorsese that directs that. Scorsese, I think. I hope I'm not getting this wrong. It'd be silly. Is the guy in the back seat who Travis Bickle, De Niro's character, is driving around. He's like, pull up here, park. See that window up there? Seen that window up there? My wife's in there. About to fuck a guy. I think he uses a slur then about who she's fucking. He's like, you know what I got? You ever see a 44 Magnum? What it does to a woman's face? You ever see that? You ever think about that? And it's like having this unhinged conversation where he's talking about murdering his wife with a 44 Magnum pistol and what it would do to a woman's face. And De Niro's just like, baby, mess it up. Mess it up real good. He doesn't know what to fucking say, you know? I love Taxi Driver. I haven't seen that in a while. It's almost time. It's a little uncomfortable.
What's the plot?
So Travis is a taxi driver who is clearly unhinged. He has lost his mind completely, and that is being magnified by the city that he lives in. It's almost this toxin that's seeping into him. He sees he can't sleep because of part of his psychosis is preventing that, and so he just gets as many shifts as he can. He's in every night he goes to the horrors of New York City, the drugs and the sex and the pimps and the rape, and he befriends a 14-year-old prostitute played by Jodie Foster, and Harvey Keitel plays her pimp, Sport. And you've also got this side story where he becomes infatuated with this woman, maybe played by Jane Fonda, though I'm not good on that. Who's she's an aide to a political candidate, and De Niro is going crazy and like sort of writing his manifesto, acquiring weaponry, training himself. Literally, he has this monologue where he's like, "For too long, we've sat still and rotted. No more of that. Every day, 50 push-ups, 50 pull-ups. We've got to harden ourselves, harden our body." And while you hear this monologue, he's like making a fist above a gas stove burner, sort of like just getting himself a little pain, just a little, not roasting himself, nothing crazy, but he's like, yeah, fucking hot, isn't it? He's like, he's taken the inside of a drawer, that mechanism, that roller mechanism, and strapped it to the inside of his arm, and he's put a little pocket pistol in there so he can reach out like this, and the pistol slides out. And it's that famous scene where he's talking in the mirror, and he's, "You talking to me? You talking to me? I don't see anybody else here, so you must be talking to me. Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?" And he pulls the gun. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's fucking right. It's great. I love that shit. That and the scene where he acquires the guns. The gun salesman is hilarious. He's got all these crazy guns, of course, but at the end of the conversation, he's like, "I can get you a Cadillac, brand new Cadillac, $3,000. Uppers, downers. You like girls?" It's like, whatever you want, this guy can get it.
Yeah, that movie's awesome. I need to
and
really
then at
watch
the
it.
end, of course, he snaps, and he could go left and become a hero, or he could go right and become a villain. And he makes his decision. Or is his decision made for him? That's what I would argue. But it's a great movie. Crazy shootout at the end. Maybe one of my favorite De Niro things other than Godfather. I love that movie. He's scary. He's legitimately scary because you hear him talking to himself and you're like, yeah, there are people walking around like that who are just like, I don't care about my life, and these people around me need to go. They're a fucking poison. Yeah. They're plotting and scheming, and like, here's a guy who's going through the steps, right? And this is in the 70s.
I watched that after, like, I saw Joker.
It's very young De Niro, by the way, Woody. Like, he's very fit and thin.
Oh yeah,
like early 70s or something like that. But I
tried to watch it twice. I was never ready for
it. They said like, oh, this new Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, it kind of borrows a lot from Taxi Driver, kind of the same vibe. And it does, definitely. But like, I had never seen Taxi Driver, but it has that, when I watched it, it has that same vibe of like when characters who aren't familiar with Travis Bickle or aren't familiar with Joker, like you see them kind of get adjacent to him in a non-intimidating setting. And you have a feeling of like, no, this poor woman has no idea the kind of person she's talking to right now. Oh, don't lead him on with that. Don't say that to him. You're gonna make him think that you are like connected at the hip now and like true love, like very.
Yeah, it's hard to see what's wrong with Travis Bickle on the outside, but it's clear he's a very broken person whose perception of reality and just the way he lives is very altered. The way he takes that lovely woman on her first date to a porno theater, and he's like, lots of people go to these movies, and she's like, are you fucking sick? You sick in the head? What's wrong with you? And like runs away, and it's like he had no idea how to like communicate with a woman. He's literally like an incel, outsider, lone wolf, ready to fucking snap and
he's fucked up from war, right?
No.
No.
De Niro, I'm itching to talk about Cape Fear because that's the De Niro movie that I think is scary.
Zach, show us a picture of De Niro all pumped up with the tattoos from Cape Fear.
I would love that. Yeah. So De Niro, not normally the guy I think of as like an action hero or an action hero type villain, but in that movie, he got prepared for it. I thought that's how I remember it anyway. And he plays this crazy guy. I forget why he has it out for the protagonist. Do you remember what?
He likes the daughter. He's like creeping on the like 16-year-old, 15-year-old daughter. I think she likes me a lot. I think she does.
I could be wrong. I remember it differently. I remember him using the daughter as a tool to get to the dad. And he does it. That's one of the scary things. The daughter's in school and I'll call her 14 years old or so. He was bigger in my memory. She's like 14 and De Niro is seducing her and it is working. And her dad is like, do not go near that guy. Don't go near him. But she's, using her own brain. And she's like, I don't know. I think this guy's pretty cool. I think I like him a lot.
I've seen Goodfellas.
And then there are a couple other scenes too, like their dog dies, I think, and then like a piano string is missing from the piano. We don't know what the fuck happened there.
Taylor, you've never seen it, right?
I've seen Cape Fear. I like it.
Oh, I was hoping you'd never seen Cape Fear, but I knew you had seen the Simpsons episode with the Pinafore,
The HMS Pinafore.
Yeah.
You don't know what VeggieTales is, Kyle?
We did hand bells. That's when each of the kids has a different bell. They're color coded for the key, and then she points at a chart and we ring the bells like a choir of bells.
What the fuck does that have to do with Jesus?
We did, gospel songs.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds awful. VeggieTales was a cartoon
think it was my
show.
mom's idea. It was awful.
Yeah, VeggieTales was a cartoon show with Larry the Cucumber and fucking
Bob
Timmy
the
the tomato or something. I don't remember the tomato. Bob the tomato. And they would like just be hanging out on like kitchen counters, and they'd be like, "Oh, Stevie the squash is getting sliced up, and look how much pie he made." And they'd be like, "Larry, that reminds me of when Jesus made meals for 10,000 people with just 2 loaves and 2 fishes." And then it like does a Family Guy style like flashback, and all the characters are vegetables. And so it's like Jesus is an asparagus and his disciples are like squash, and now that the more I describe it, the more I realize it wasn't good.
It was perfect. Don't you
ask you this?
You say it like this.
Can I ask you this?
It only seemed good because I was in church and I needed something.
So Taylor, all the characters are vegetables. I'm getting that.
Yeah.
And he's doing this Sermon on the Mount. Is it bread and fish that he's serving to vegetables?
Yes.
I think
the vegetables are carnivores.
The vegetables are eating the bread and the fish.
There they are. Hey,
there it is. Yeah. You got in the middle. You got Larry the cucumber, Bob the tomato.
That's Goliath.
Why is Larry so fucking big?
No, that's not. Larry is the smaller cucumber.
Who's that big Bluto retarded guy?
That's Goliath.
Goliath
From David and Goliath.
He's a boxer.
Yeah.
In this
interpretation,
it was to show how.
What are the gloves attached to?
Scalp them.
Man, this was a terrible show.
Why do none of them have?
Stop it, Taylor.
You're going too far.
Quit attacking my culture.
They don't have arms.
Is the tomato really supposed to be there?
Gaze not into the abyss.
The tomato's
the abyss. Gaze also into you.
It's supposed to be educational, and there's a fucking fruit there. I'm not buying into it.
No, they're vegetables.
VeggieTales.
He left. Look, you made him leave. You made him leave. Look at that.
I guess the tomato's technically a fruit, but we all know what it fucking is for real. No one eats tomatoes like a canned fruit.
Nah. It should be a vegetable, other than by like technical definition, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm real.
I didn't know it was 3D animated like that. I didn't know it was like cutting edge technology for the time.
Oh,
yeah,
for 1997, that was the bee's knees.
It was
man.
the shit.
That's crazy, bro. They were banging that out on like fucking super powered computer.
Yeah.
It's like, do you remember like toys and like little widgets or things you would get during school? Like if you're a child, like first grade or whatever, it's like, oh, you did well on your spelling test. Take a little top or a popping rubber thing from the gift thing.
Insane, bro.
And a little jumping frog, little plastic jumping frog.
And like little plastic jumping frog. And while you're at school, you're like, this rocks. Now I've got a toy to play with on my desk. Time's flying by.
Crazy.
But like you would never bring those toys home, because it's only fun within the context of shitty school. Same thing with VeggieTales. Like if they put like a morning, like a 1997, 1998 morning when I woke up on Saturday early so I could see Ash and Pokemon. Like if they were like, we interrupt today's Pokemon to bring you VeggieTales, like I would have written my congressman or whatever the fuck you do as a child. Like I would have been like, no, this is Pokemon time. VeggieTales is for Sunday school.
You keep that out of my Pokemon.
Keep it out of my Pokemon.
Yeah. So what we had not at Sunday school. It was just at school. It was so sick. It was called Télé Français, and learning French was not exciting. But Télé Français was like, it had like a good opening theme song, and everyone knew the words. And it was like a silly fucking like picture of a pineapple. Like it was like that's who spoke to you, anana, like which means pineapple. And when that show came on, we like actively knew it wasn't a good show. But Télé Français was on, and the whole fucking class like got lit singing the theme song every time. And we would watch like 3 episodes in a row. So you'd sing it like 3 times. Everyone's like, we're looking at each other. We're like, teleproce. And like the teacher was like, I'm going to put it on, but you guys can't sing it. You cannot sing it.
Teleproce.
Yeah, we were literally like, bonjour, hello, salut,
How fluent did you ever get with French?
I could read a book in French. I could understand people from France speaking French. I could communicate adequately with people. And then I'm from Quebec. I cannot understand Quebecois French or the people here. It's like its own thing, and it's mixed with slang and
weird.
They weren't teaching you Quebecois French. They were teaching you
teach you
French.
French. They teach you language French,
like textbook
but then
French.
People here just have their own. It's like imagine you were like you learned English, and then you went to like a really southern part of the USA where it's like too much twang on that accent, and you're just like, what the fuck are they saying?
Yeah, it's like West Virginians, like in Appalachian Mountains, where it's like they're speaking English, but you don't know what the fuck they're saying.
All right, now you're coming for me. Now Appalachia.
You're not one of those folks. You're very.
I am Eastern
articulate.
Kentucky. You think West Virginia's bad? My word.
Is it worse?
Yeah, well, it's about the same. I've been to the worst of West Virginia and Eastern Kentucky, and I couldn't tell a difference. It's pretty close.
Damn.
East Kentucky's a lot more crime and meth oriented, whereas West Virginia's a lot more inbreeding. But it all comes out in the wash of like the exact same.
Yeah,
you just see someone who's got something wrong with him. You're like, that's probably not good.
His dad is
probably Moonshine related.
He's got a grandpa dad.
Probably.
Was that reference you made earlier? That reference you said earlier to going blind drinking moonshine. Was that a Squidbillies reference by chance?
No,
that was I've known people who built stills and made it too strong and went blind.
So that's a real thing. The Squidbillies joke was based off of reality then. Oh,
yeah. I think like we looked this up on the show a while ago. So basically when you make your own alcohol, you know how like ethanol is that's what alcohol is.
Right.
So apparently like the reason that when they run a still and they're bottling, they like let it run for a bit is because methanol, which is a different kind of alcohol that makes you go blind, is the first stuff to come out. And so if you just start bottling methanol and you drink that, it can like permanently blind you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why just go to the fucking store and buy.
Yeah. Well, I've been involved in people making moonshine in prison, and even them who can sell it for several dollars a drop, even they pour out that first bit, you know?
Yeah. Better safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing's worth your sight.
And I'm sorry, Wendigo, you were about to say something?
No, I was just gonna say is talking about go to the store. The main reason that it is a thing is because around Prohibition, there's a lot of people who died trying to traffic moonshine and everything. Mm-hmm. So whenever the government was just like, okay, we won't bother you anymore, a lot of people didn't trust them and decided they were going to continue the tradition outside of the eye of the law. And then that was just a passed down practice for generations and generations to come. So a lot of people do it as a testament to self-reliance and anti-gov stuff.
Interesting. Like you're into the conspiracies and everything. Did you ever read about like how the Kennedy family like became influential and elite by bootlegging during Prohibition?
I've heard about that.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so interesting.
So a bunch of people did. Like everyone who started the big cities out west, like Las Vegas and stuff, that's how they got their start. Was interesting. I went on a vacation to Bar Harbor, Maine, which was...
What's that sound?
What is that sound?
Oh my God, Taylor. Whoa. Your mic just exploded, bro.
My mic is...
Oh wow!
I don't know why I don't know why like a blown out audio is so funny to me.
It's just memey as fuck.
Hang on, hang on. Let me see if I still hear the thing now that he's muted. Okay, yeah.
Nah.
Just unplug it and replug it back in. It's
you should always podcast like that.
Your gain got maxed out, is what.
Yeah, your gain was bad. It was clipping, dude. I don't think I was getting anybody.
Did you hear that? I thought that was the rapture, mom.
Dude.
Thomas, am I still blown out?
Nah, sounds
right
normal.
There. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
No, that's weird. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry
about that.
Okay,
that's good. Yeah.
That was interesting. Anyway,
I thought a train was about to hit your
that's what it sounded
I thought
like.
you
like it
were
was getting
Word.
closer.
It's so frustrating because it's like, what do I do? I haven't touched anything all night.
As soon as Taylor mentioned the Kennedys, a ship descended on his house.
It descended on the Hilton and said, "You're fucked."
I went to Bar Harbor, Maine, which is like a ritzy place in Maine that back at the turn of the century into like World War II, a bunch of big, fancy, rich people stayed at. So Edison had a house there. The Fords had a house there and all that. They didn't realize until the 1970s why all the houses were located so close when they started trying to renovate nearby and found all these underground tunnels. And it turned out bootleggers would come from Canada and they would go in these underground tunnels. And these tunnels led to like the cellar of every mansion around Bar Harbor. So all of these like rich, fancy people who didn't know each other, like Edison Ford and all that, shared all this underground bootlegging ring where they would all go during the summers and get hammered. So like people who did that and supplied for them quickly made their way up to the top. And people like the Kennedys, yeah.
It's wild. Like all of those wealthy, like established families. It's like, well, how did they make their money? Oh, well, they exploited millions of people and tens of thousands died because they hadn't invented child labor laws yet. And they were making kids like reach into fucking metal shard piles and like retrieve things. Like basically what Apple has like little African kids doing now in mines to get like the fucking manganese they need for chips or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
sounds good to me. I need my manganese.
Yeah, we need our manganese
by any means necessary.
I haven't had any alcohol in shit. When's the last time I drank? I don't know if I do. I don't know. Oh, no, I'm not. I don't think I've had a drink since I could smoke either weed or this Delta 8 stuff. I don't think I have.
Because what's the point? Yeah. Why would you? Like, bro, when you drink, it makes you need to pee, need to vomit, and then you're out of control of yourself.
Like, that's not even the worst part. I was waiting. Taylor nailed it. It makes you fat. That's the problem.
Yeah, and it makes you fat.
Everything else I can deal with.
Oh yeah,
it's terrible. It's terrible. Where do you think this country would be if we'd stuck with prohibition? What do you think would have happened? There would have been a black market? Do you think the country would have been in a worse place than it is today if there was that black market? And then
let's be real.
We'd have people
in a much better place. Well,
if you could get everybody to get on board with it, but they won't. They won't. That's the problem. They want their vices.
Did they give it a good try?
It's like 5 years, right?
No, almost the whole 20s, right? And then they brought it back in 1931.
If it was illegal for 10 years, I feel like we know our answer. Like culture wasn't about to change in less than 50.
It spawned Al Capone. It spawned the professional gangster in this country in a lot of ways.
Glass half full.
Hey, glass half full. You're right.
The Kennedys made their money.
That's actually true. It really did teach
bootleggers,
big criminals. Like it taught like the main guys in the 20s, like, oh sweet, like now you've had this little test run with alcohol and alcohol's legal again. Now you know how to do it with like crack and heroin. Good luck, boys.
And a lot of those guys, like who were like in charge, like the Nucky Thompsons, so to speak, like were very similar to that at the time. Like publicly, they're like, this demon liquid can never be allowed to come back because like they make boatloads of money by selling Canadian fucking booze onto the table. So like all of them, the Kennedy, like this is reprehensible. And meanwhile, just counting their fucking millions of dollars from that.
Yeah, it is terrible though.
We should look at that blueprint and make some money. Heroin's illegal. Get on it, Taylor. You need a third
I tried that, Woody. It didn't go well. Haven't you heard? I was a trafficker. What?
Muling it.
Drew, you did some time, didn't you? Weren't you put away at some point?
Not on a serious one. I mean, I've had multiple times where I've been in jail, but I've never been sentenced with anything. I've always managed to somehow get away.
Just like the Sam Pepper level shit where you were kind of arrested and then on your way.
Yeah.
You've been in American and British jails?
Like France, I bribed some police to get away, which was kind of weird.
Tight. How did that happen?
Like, so I was driving, and bearing in mind I had like 2 ounces of flour, and I had like, I don't know, maybe like 200 quid in cash, but it wasn't enough, but it looked sketchy, you know, it was just very strange. And this is back in the day when, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but in the UK, Cali import is like a big thing. Like almost like probably 30% of the weed over here is like expensive, like Cali import, stupid expensive. But back then we used to get these bullshit RX label pots where people would just put their UK weed in like these RX medical label pots, right? And it'll be imitating Cali. Luckily, I had some of my weed in that. So I'm driving and there's one of them stops where they're pulling like 1 in 3 cars.
Oh no.
And this is when I was an idiot and I used to like smoke while I was driving. I had like a big joint going. I'm like, yes, oh fuck. I'm like throwing the joint. I'm like, oh fuck, run the window down. Like, yeah, pull up. They do breathalyzer. I fail. No, I don't fail the breathalyzer. Sorry, I'm like, oh wait, I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna be able to go. But then they bring out the swab test, which is like brand new at the time. They can swab your saliva and tell if you have THC, like cocaine, like all sorts of shit. And obviously I'm gonna fail that. So like, yeah, it came back, I failed it. I'm like, fuck, medical, please, medical, like please. And at first they weren't having it, but they saw that some of the pots were in them RX pots. They put them to the side. They're like, sweet. And then the police have sort of gone like, this problem, this not problem. And he points at the ones with the bullshit medical thing on it.
Oh no.
Oh, sweet. But it's like this big problem, like, and it's just the same pots, but without the fucking medical sticker on it. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, like, look, come. I get out of the car. 4 of them all huddled together. Like, look, you pay police, it makes it easier. What, like a fine? It's like, no.
Bribe.
I'm like, sing.
I love that he's so open with the corruption. He's like, no, let's be real here. This is some illegal dirty shit, you pothead. What an honest, corrupt policeman.
Yeah, right.
No, not a fine.
Well, I think you have to make it clear, like, this is not you are okay to go.
He didn't have to make it clear. He could have taken your money and left, but he wanted you to be.
You say a shake down.
But bro, I'm like, yeah, bro, how much you want? He's like, look, we huddle, like they huddle again, like 750 euros. We're just like, brother, at the time that was like all the money I had. This like 2017. I was like, broke. Oh fuck! I guess if this gets me out, I'll fucking go in jail. Take my money. So like, bro, these guys get me in the police car. We start driving like on the wrong side of the road with the lights on, like going over the grass and shit, like fucking like mad shit. So just to get me to the cash machine. I get there. Like,
they took you to a cash machine?
Yeah, and I had a foreign card, so it's only letting me take.
Are you sure these were police officers?
So like, it only lets me take out 250 euros because of the.
Well, they said they were.
Well, because foreign card, 250 euros only allowed. I'm like, bro, what do I do? Only 250 euros. Like the card, it doesn't let me take any more.
He lowers the price.
And they sort of huddle and they're like, "It's okay. It's okay." I'm like, sweet. What do we do? They're like, well, they basically explained to me like, look, we've called it in. So the only thing we can do is we can take you to the hospital. We can take your bloods. We can say that there was nothing in your bloods. We can say that the test came back nothing.
Wow.
And then we can give you your license back in the post. And we'll just mail it to you.
What a terrible system!
Yeah,
they're doing.
So like, and because
we're gonna mail you your license after we fake your medical report. Why don't I just walk away and you go that way?
Yeah,
bro, I had to go through this whole ordeal, and
tell them I escaped.
Didn't handcuff me at all. I'm like smoking cigarettes inside the police station with them and shit because it's fucking middle of France, middle of nowhere. They didn't give a fuck. Bro, I'm looking at people in the cells, like, and I'm just stood there outside smoking a cigarette with the police, like, oh, when we're going to the hospital, then boys, like, are they writing up everything? And
yeah, those people didn't have money for the bribe.
Bro, they were telling the truth. Everything happened. Like, bro, I got home later and my license was there. Like,
hilarious.
They actually shipped it back.
What the fuck? Well, that's bizarre. I just imagine them as both scary and polite at the same time. A French policeman who wants a bribe. That's like a Saturday Night Live sketch.
Did you call him
it's
like
fucking weird,
Monsieur or like whatever Sir is? over there?
No.
Like, official. I think they like being referred to as that. You go official.
Inspector.
Oh,
They like that.
inspector. They like to be talked to like that. Is how a French person likes to be spoken to. Is in a in obvious mockery.
I think they enjoy that. Yeah.
You know what's actually crazy though? Like recently, I had some really fucked up situation happen, which I haven't really spoken about on my channel, but like I kind of don't care because fuck these people who did this shit because fucking annoying, bro.
Yeah.
Recently, I was in Barcelona for like a big weed event. It's like the biggest cannabis thing that happens anywhere, and I'm sat inside one of these cannabis clubs out in Spain because that's how it works out there. They're like a club. And my mates in the UK start getting phone calls and they start saying, yeah, there's people waiting for you outside. Like they're going to kidnap you and shit. Like my normal mates from UK. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So like, I've been sort of being like, look, this is surely bullshit. Like I have someone walk me to my car to make sure that like everything's okay. Like, you know, everything's all good. I've walked to my car. Everything seems like it's bullshit. Nobody's walking with me. Nobody's done nothing. And, yeah, like I've sort of gone to my mate. Oh, it must have all been bullshit. I've like fist bumped him. I've got in my car. Next thing I know, 2 guys have come over to the car, pulled me out the car, fucking beat the shit out of me, taken all my stuff out the car, probably like $5,000 worth of shit out the car, like a bunch of shit. And like the only reason I'm really mentioning it is because I ended up going to France. Like while all this fucking ordeal was going on, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? I didn't want to be in Barcelona, so I drove to France. Which after all this situation, I actually got a warrant out for my arrest because 2 years later they decided, yeah, actually, fuck it, we are pressing charges on this cunt. So for some reason I had a warrant out, which I ended up being back in France. Super long situation, but all in all, I hope never to go back to France. And fuck those people from Barcelona who are Club 67. So fuck them.
Yeah. Fuck Spain. Fuck France. What other European countries can
just those two? Just those two. Those are the worst ones.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, do people? I feel like Europeans are all mean to the ANIA nations, like Romania. Like they seem to get ripped on a good bit, being called gypsies.
As you go further east, you know.
I guess the further east you go.
Yeah. And Monaco for some reason, fuck them.
Yeah.
Monaco? I thought they were like the super rich, like almost like a tax haven.
But that's why it's fuck them.
That's why. Yeah. They're all full of themselves. They think they're hot shit with their boats and
they're fucking car races.
Your marina's too crowded. I'm not having it.
No. You know, I'd like to go. You know, somewhere you should visit just to roll the dice is Singapore.
Singapore?
Yeah, like just see if you can make it through. Like because they are like
luck, you know. I've had all these situations in all these other countries, the US, France, you know, like Singapore. Let's just
you're playing this shit on recruit mode in France.
Thailand, because
you ever been caned before?
Things due to public caning. Preliminary public caning before you even do something bad.
I like the public caning. I'm sure we've talked about this many times, but I love the idea of public corporal punishment. When we talked about fighting, I think Harley or somebody asked me what part I thought would be worse. The worst part about getting beaten up or whatever, and I'm like, it's the embarrassment. It's the embarrassment of getting beaten up in front of everybody. If it happened in a dark alley, I wouldn't give a shit that much. Like I don't want to get disfigured. Don't get me wrong, but if I got beat up in an alley and nobody knew about it, I wouldn't feel so bad.
Do people talk about why they're in there? Is that a thing that everybody talks about?
They don't talk about. They don't bring it up. But if I got comfortable with somebody, I would ask them.
That makes sense.
Or if I didn't feel like they were a scary person, I would just ask them right away. Like the gay guy that's like right next to me, one cell on the other side of Terry Cruz's brother-in-law. I was like, what the fuck are you in here for, man? He's like, I was selling a little cocaine, and I was like, how much is a little? A couple ounces. I was like, okay,
that sucks.
Yeah, that'll do it. How long? Right around 2 years.
2 years. Holy shit.
Just for trying to have fun.
Yeah. Well, I got mixed up with those machinima guys. And
oh my gosh. Wow.
Kyle, you want a prison question?
Yeah, sure.
You said there were people from Atlanta that were way worse. There was an Atlanta minimum security prison, but it was like way more hardcore. Homeless people? What was the scoop with that?
All right, so they didn't put me in the Atlanta camp, I think because they don't want people too close to their homes for whatever reason, which seems like bullshit. Because what if like I was in there for 5 years and I wanted to visit my family, but they were 6 hours away.
Yeah.
But there were guys who had been transferred to Talladega from Atlanta's camp, and quite a few of them. So I got it from like multiple sources what that camp was like there, and they were like, man, it's wilding out. And I'm like, tell me more. He's like, well, shit, we got everything in there. We got fucked up though. The snitches told on us. They shut it all down. I was like, what did you have? Everything. I was like, all right, well, what does everything mean? We want to go out and party, so we get a hobo to come in and sleep in our bed. That way they come through and count is sleeping in my bed. So it's all good. If you there, they don't care. And I'm like,
what?
Yeah.
You can just leave?
No, you can't just leave. They're not gonna, but they just walk by with a flashlight at night and count bodies. They don't recognize you.
Well, how do they get out?
I think that they were, I know at one point there wasn't even a fence around that camp. Like some of the camps, like especially in the north, don't have a fence. We had like that big scary 12-foot fence with the razor wire on the top and the bottom, and
you had that. I thought you didn't.
I thought I didn't too. There were a lot of lies about that place online. Like all of the programs that they said that we were going to have, like they only exist for the medium security guys. And so people will transfer to Talladega because they're like, yeah, I want to learn to be a fucking graphic artist. That'd be cool. I'm out in a year and a half. I need a job that, won't discriminate. And they're like, oh, that's only for medium security. So they're like, shit. Well, can I go to Pennsylvania? I think they have it. They're like, yeah, you can transfer in 18 months.
Oh shit.
Till then, we get $93 a day off your ass. Go find a bunk and get a job. It's just like, fuck, this is slavery. So there were they would leave and actually go party. They would bring girls into the prison, they said, and fuck them sometimes. They would literally bring whores in. And then they had like all of the drugs and alcohol. But we had all the drugs and alcohol too.
That's insane.
Man, maybe prison's not so
Wait, did you say you said you had something in alcohol? You had whores and alcohol?
Drugs and alcohol. We had drugs and alcohol. Like every drug you can name, and alcohol and cigarettes and cell phones. Like all of that was like everywhere in Talladega. Like
so the alcohol, you guys didn't. It wasn't like prison made alcohol. It was professionally made alcohol. You imported.
When I asked about it, they said I was like, do they have? Because I was reading a Stephen King book where they were talking about making alcohol out of prunes and raisins in prison, and so I asked a guy that was near me. I was like, do they do that here? He's like, they don't have to. They got Jim Beam and vodka. They got it. They have real alcohol. And I was like, well, how much is it? He's like, you want some? And I was like, no, I don't. Well, maybe. How much is it? And he's like, $8 a shot. And I'm like, fuck.
That's a good deal. That's not bad at all.
Cheaper than here.
Los Angeles. That's Los Angeles. Yeah.
It's bar prices.
Yeah. Tuckers just get wasted. Blacked out. At these prices, I can't afford not to be.
So yeah, they would explain that you could really just get away with anything there, and that it was just rampant with people like leaving and going out and partying and like going to strip. Like their friends would just pick them up off on a road that was nearby and take them off to town, and they'd go get burgers and go to a hotel and fuck their girlfriends at the hotel or whatever. And I was like, that doesn't sound like here at all. They're like, nah, it sucks here.
Oh, what a bummer.
Man, you got sent to a sucky prison.
We were talking about the workout equipment last week. I kind of alluded to it, but so we had a running track, and they had sports. They had a softball field. And they had they would play like pickup football. Actually, it wasn't even pickup. It was organized flag football with teams. One of the teams' name was the Woodlayers, and were
they gay? I had to process.
I don't ask. Don't ask. Don't tell, Woody.
Right.
And so they would go out there and they'd play football, but it was hot as fuck out there. I couldn't believe they weren't just heat stroking out in that 100-degree bullshit. And there was like medicine balls and then there were there was like one good elliptical, one decent treadmill, and like some shitty ellipticals that had no resistance. Even you were just on this green thing doing this a lot, and then that was it. And I was like, well, shit. What do you do for like? Or there was chin up bars and dip bars, but there was no free weights. And I was like, what do they do? And my buddy's like, over here, I'll show you. We go out there, and these guys have gotten big rocks, like the ones that like retain an area to keep from washing away, and they have taken them to the scales and weighed them, and written with magic marker what they weigh on them. So every rock you look at in the gully says 25.5, 32 pounds, 16 pounds.
Big rocks.
Yeah, they're big, like the retaining rocks you like put to like keep water from washing a gully away. And they would take these bags and fill them up with rocks, and they put them on either end of a pipe. And they're out there doing bench press and curls with a pipe full of rocks. So why would bags of rocks?
Why wouldn't they give them free weights? Was it because they were worried that they would like hurt each other with them, or?
That's what they would say if you asked. That's the same reason they said that we didn't have a pool table, but they give us padlocks and socks. So that's bullshit. We got big long tube socks, and we've got padlocks.
I never got into NASCAR, but I do respect the culture and the idea of it because, again, I live in Tennessee. It is interesting. The majority of the complaints that people have who used to enjoy NASCAR is the idea that it's become too safe. Like, there was a near soldier or
That's
like
such a funny complaint.
It's like it saw it as a merit of valor, right? It's kind of, this sounds weird, but if you're from the South, if you know what I'm talking about, you may get it. It's almost like the way people view military service now.
Yeah, you were taking a risk. You put yourself out there. There's something respectable about the level of risk you took.
Yeah, exactly. There's something about a man stepping out there doing something dangerous, something wild, and putting their life on the line. And now it's seen as a step down from what it used to be, for one reason or the other. And with NASCAR, they feel like, so they've got all these rules. One of the big rules that is like reasonable is what they call it, restrictor plate racing, to where all the cars have to be in like specific lineup or whatever, where it used to be just a drag out, like however you can get.
The restrictor plate prevents how much air goes in the carb. Am I wrong? Is that not how that works?
There's something about restrictor plate racing to where it prevents you. It's something, I don't know NASCAR. It's something about either the way you move the vehicle or the way you can move. Yeah, they use drafting to speed up. There's something about the way you move.
It's a plate placed over the engine intake to control the amount of air available to the engine. By controlling the flow of air to the power, the car is limited and thus drives down the speed of the car. So an engine is just a pump, right? It's an air pump, basically. Air goes in one side and exhaust goes out the other. And by choking the amount of air that can go in it, it
slows down the car.
It slows down the car because there's a ratio of air to fuel that you put in there. So when you lower that air, you have to lower the fuel, and you can only create so much power out of this restricted thing. And it changes, if I understand it right, it changes the strategy in that low horsepower cars can't just like rip around without you. It bunches them all up and makes them draft more.
Yeah. One of the problems I've heard with that, that people legitimately have, is that makes, like you said, everyone's bunched up more. So that causes, like, instead of just 2 cars wrecking, it's now 20 cars wrecking because everyone's combined and next to each other. Which I think it's Dale Earnhardt who said restrictor plate racing is going to be the death of NASCAR. And then he died on the track.
Sounds like Dale.
Yeah, that's a very Dale thing to do, the Intimidator himself. But like a lot of the stuff that would be considered more, like that. Like if someone wrecks there, everyone behind them is going to wreck too. There's no way out of that.
Wait, is that wasn't the start to the race though? That was like that pre-lap where they're all right.
They do get like that a lot. I've only been to a couple NASCAR races, but they do get pretty bunched.
They're 1 or 2 wide, but they do get bunched up. It's the key to good racing. It seems, I'm like a new Formula One fan, just a couple of years now, is making them pass. Like they need the ability to pass it. Like the NASCAR is mostly circles or ovals, but in Formula One, a lot of the rule changes have to do with making passing more common. People like to see that exchange in places, and at the moment, I could be wrong, it seems like the car behind has so many advantages. You almost want to be in second place until the end. It used to be you'd rather be in first than second. Now, with the way DRS works and with the way some of the tracks are, it almost seems like it's better to be in second than first. So, yeah. And Zach says as much parity as possible. Dude, Formula One, I'm sorry, I'm changing the topic almost, but Formula One, the cars are not the same. And parts of me love that. I kind of love that, like, I kicked your ass. Well, your car's better. Well, if you were better, you'd be in a car as good as mine. Fuck you.
Yeah, join a better team, idiot.
Yeah, like Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull are always hiring, but they're not hiring you, fuck shit, because I'm better than you. Like that's kind of fun.
Red pilled.
That's a Sigma.
I like it in that regard. It's unfair. And when a guy in the worst car gets like 8th place, that's a huge win. On the other hand, sometimes it seems like nobody loses, right? The guy in the best car gets 3rd, and like, he's on the podium. He's up there fucking shaking the champagne, doing his thing. The guy in 12th place is like, I think I had the 20th best car, and finishing 12th was really a win for me. The guy who goes from 16th to 8th gets that. The guy who goes from 8th to 16th is like, well, that's the best my car could manage today. Because the cars are uneven, nobody loses. And everyone finds a way to define their performance as a win. I can't tell which drivers are better. It's not the guy that got first. It might be.
I mean, it's literally unfair. Like that would bother me if I started watching the sport. I'd be like, oh, Max Verstappen and whatever the other guy's name is.
Lewis Hamilton, maybe.
Lewis Hamilton. They're both so good. Oh, but their cars are actually 30% better or 20% better, whatever. Like, okay, well that's not very exciting for me. I was at this bachelor party I was at. They were like, they put on at one point, we were chilling like F1, and they were explaining all of it to me, and like just being like, so this guy who's really famous and very good gets the best car on earth, and that guy at 24 has what fucking Mercedes could scrap together from spare parts. Like that, it's not impressive to beat that guy. Like like I'm sure it's impressive to beat the top 5 where they all have the incredible cars and everything, but like saying first out of 24 or whatever, like really get real. Did you really? if some team, if the Wild were playing with cardboard skates tonight, like we'd be like, yeah, this is because the Blues team, they're geniuses, they're skate masterminds, they know how to make the blade, they know how to make. It's like no. Minnesota ran out of money, and so now they're skating on box tops from a local elementary school.
That was a big thing too. Dude, you want to talk about unfair? Some of the teams get money from they all pay into a pool, and then it gets redistributed based on how good they are. So the top teams get more money. But some teams like Williams and Ferrari and maybe Red Bull, after Williams and Ferrari, I'm not positive anymore. They get money for no fucking reason. They just get like a legacy $60 million.
Yeah, a little stipend.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, Ferrari, it doesn't matter how good you are. You get 60 million no matter what. Williams, you were literally the worst team for like every year for maybe 5 years in a row now. But because we go back a ways, you get 30 million.
Is there like a champion? 30 million. Is there like a championship at the end of the year?
There's
points or something.
Yeah, points. Yeah, so that all season long they add up their points. Last year was really interesting because
what's your
came
team
down to the last lap of the last thing. I guess I have more than one. If I were to pick my favorite drivers, I was really pulling for Max Verstappen last year just because I wanted. Lewis Hamilton had won 7 times already, and I wanted the new winner.
Yeah.
Lando Norris is a really likable guy.
His name's Lando.
That sounds like a racer.
Lando Norris.
Lando Norris is super cool guy.
If he hadn't been an F1 driver, if he like worked the counter at a Wendy's, that'd be the lamest fucking name
He's
ever.
Worth.
It's a good thing that guy made it.